Before I release my top 30 favorite animated movies video, maybe I should quickly discuss my honorable mentions that couldn't make it into the list. Let's jump right into it.
Why not? Why won't you sing?
Because singing killed my grandma, okay?
Honestly, this placement might be a bit of a stretch, and I feel really bad for not putting Marcel the Shell in my top 50, but I really do mean it when I say that I love seeing a bit of harmony. The musical numbers are catchy and fun, the animation is stunning, the characters are very entertaining, and the story takes a very dark turn in the second half. And the Tamagotchi scene makes this film. Even for people who don't like this film, I dare you to tell me this scene isn't some of the best stuff ever.
This is my sister.
This is my brother.
Mamoru Hosoda really can do no wrong. I talked about Mirai before, but I still can't get enough of this ball of slice-of-life fun. Even if Kun can get uncomfortable to watch at some points, I'm always drawn into the mystical and familial adventures he gets himself into. It's nice.
I remember like it was yesterday.
It was yesterday. What was?
Like Mirai, I only really like Only Yesterday this much because it's just a fun and relaxing watch. The childhood vignettes entwined with Taiko's reflections on how far she's come in life is a very compelling story to watch unfold. And the animation is just as good as ever for Ghibli. Some of the stories didn't flow very well, but I think most of them worked out spectacularly, and it is certainly one of my Ghibli favorites.
It's good to be there.
Even though it's a bit fast-paced and could have used more room for touching character moments, it's a miracle Wreck-It Ralph works this well given its video game movie premise. None of the references feel dated at all and are just cute quirks. On top of that, you have extremely likable characters, excellent comedy, a kicking score, and a variety of animation styles to capture the scope of this video game world. It's all just a lot of fun and worth multiple watches.
I am so high right now. I am up so high.
This is gonna come as a shock to you guys, but Alice in Wonderland is a top 5 Disney film for me. I love it so much. The animation is spectacular and vibrant, the characters are lovable and charming, the narrative and songs are so much fun, and Alice herself is a charming protagonist to follow on this expedition into a weird wonderland. It's something that I wouldn't mind watching over and over again. Treasure Planet is just as good as everyone says. It is genuinely amazing. Even if Ben got a bit annoying at times, the characters of Jim and Silver carried this film easily, and the animation and world building are full of passion and ambition. Steampunk is pretty cool, y'all.
Oh, what up, son?
It shouldn't come as a surprise that, as I am an avid supporter of slice-of-life storytelling, I absolutely love Luca. If you want in-depth thoughts, you can go watch my re-uploaded video on it, but in short, this film's sweet summer vibe makes it such an enjoyable experience, covering a multitude of themes from culture, friendship, and coming of age. It's one of Pixar's top 5 films, and you are lying to yourself if you don't think so.
I'll never let go.
Ride Your Wave is one of the sweetest yet heartbreaking films of all time. What begins as one of the best displays of a romantic relationship in anything ever spirals into a study of grief and attachment. Admittedly, its ending is a little out of left field, but it is absolutely one of the best romances period, and you really should go into this movie blind because the trailers give everything away.
My first girlfriend turned into the moon. That's rough, buddy.
It's been a hot minute since I saw Princess Kaguya, but it doesn't change the fact that this is an incredible film. Its gorgeous animation, compelling characters, and tragic story makes this an ethereal watching experience that I can recommend to anyone.
It's me, Mario.
I might have to rewatch Leggo Movie sometime to solidify its ranking here, but nonetheless, this film is more than awesome. Mostly hinging on the hilarious laugh-out-loud comedy, clever, witty, and self-aware, but with the gorgeous Lego animation, plus insanely lovable characters with great dynamics, and a fantastic portrayal of how inside literally everyone there is a spark waiting to flare, this movie is living proof that you can't just use the "it's just a toy commercial" excuse to justify why a movie is bad, unless it literally is the reason why a movie exists.
Song of the Sea.
This might come as a surprise to some, but Song of the Sea is honestly my least favorite of Cartoon Saloon's output, but that just speaks to how incredible this studio is, since this movie is still an excellent hit. Even if I didn't like many of the characters in the first half apart from Saoirse and the dog, they did grow on me in the second half, and it handles its message about life being a mix of joy and suffering very well. That, on top of its incredible animation and soundtrack, just makes this an awesome film.
Excuse me. I lost my clampoosier for a second there.
This is my favorite of Yuasa's work. I absolutely love Lu Over the Wall. I cannot remember the last time I had this big a smile on my face, apart from Cat Returns and Wolf Children. It's gorgeously animated, the music is awesome, the characters are lovable and charming, and it is super funny. The opening sequence alone moved me to tears from how overwhelmingly fun it is. This is just a ball of wholesome that I'm glad I experienced in this lifetime.
No face.
Yep, it's Spirited Away. It's not a personal favorite Ghibli movie of mine like everyone else, but if any 2D animated, let alone anime movie had to win an Oscar, I'm glad it's this one. Its influence reigns supreme over the animation industry, and it always will.
I want to be a witch.
A movie about how making your personal passion your job can lead to burnout and lack of self-esteem? Boy, that sure isn't relevant whatsoever. A hard-hitting, emotional slice-of-life fantasy film that has beautiful animation and immensely relatable characters. What more could you ask for?
It's me, your grandmother. I've made you pie.
When Marnie Was There is what I would consider one of Ghibli's most underrated movies. Easily one of their top 5 films with a beautiful and heartfelt story about a meaningful connection between a lonely girl and a plucky yet miserable ghost-like young lady. On top of having beautiful animation and a heart-tugging score, its delivery is very effective and has managed to be a personal favorite of many. It's just an incredible movie from a great studio.
That cybernetic arm. You're a meta runner, right?
Yeah, over time, I think Mitchell's has moved up my 2021 ranking, but I still prefer Words and Violet Evergarden over this. It's crazy how I used to think this was a 6 out of 10 movie, but it is animated beautifully, its story is gripping and fun, and it's just so darn funny. I mostly love it because of how perfectly executed its comedy is, aside from the technology jokes, but this is just so much fun from beginning to end. Definitely a top 3 movie for 2021. A DreamWorks classic with an amazing score, breathtaking flying sequences, and an endearing story about 2 unlikely friends sparking 2 different cultures uniting as one. What else is there to say?
Hey, look how small you are. Little baby. Oh, baby man.
Some of you might be surprised to see this movie this high. I can only imagine how even more surprised you will be once you see what my actual favorite Ghibli movie is. Arrietty is definitely one of Ghibli's underrated films, which is a shame because I personally think it's an absolute masterpiece. I admit that part of the appeal is just watching the breathtaking animation and music depicting the daily life of the borrowers and how they navigate through this home that is way bigger than them. The characters aren't the most compelling of all time, but they work spectacularly for the movie that they're in. And ultimately, for a movie that's about what it means to have courage, the message is executed very well. I'm very glad that this exists.
Help me!
First time?
Yeah. My Father's Dragon is that good. Admittedly, its first half is a bit rough to get through, mainly because of Boris's vocal performance and the weirdly structured narrative, but once they discover the turtle is dead, the film just amps up its quality to the highest level and powerfully displays a tale of how devastating emotions can lead to rifts in friendships. As said, not a lot of people's favorite, but it is certainly one of mine.
Vacation Maggie's going on vacation.
I was not kidding when I put the 3rd season of Non Non Biyori in my top 5 shows of 2021. I love the heck out of the series so much, and this movie might actually be in my top 30. I just can't think of an intellectual reason to justify why I love it to that extent. All I know is that when I first watched it, I had so much fun because it is just 80 minutes of these girls going to Okinawa and hijinks ensue. I love anything Renge does. I love her dynamic with Kaede, and this movie got me to care about Natsume in a way I really couldn't before. I got so invested in her friendship with Aoi and felt the devastation when they needed to part ways. The animation is so vibrant and alive and sells the beauty of the environment as always. The music is so relaxing, and its low-key style of comedy is honestly some of the best I've seen in anything. This movie is so much fun, and you are doing yourself a great disservice if you aren't stopping what you're doing to immediately binge this show right now. So those are the movies that didn't make it into the top 30 list, making this entire thing technically a top 50 list. Granted, these are my honorable mentions now that are subject to change over time. Anyway, tell me your favorite animated movies before I release that video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.